excited about what.
Okay, forgive me, my brother. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just feel sorry for all the other content creators now that we have this mega star back.
Oh, yo. So we getting into the show today, man. I want y'all to come in and by the way, man, once again, thank y'all for supporting today's content, man. So let's dive into the show, man. Let me get the phone line ready because I know y'all gonna be ready for today's show. Okay, there it is. All right, everything's set up, man. Everything's good. We good. Everybody's good. Everybody's hot. All right, listen, Alabama, Tennessee. Let's get into the breakdown, man. We did our history breakdown on Tuesday morning. Yesterday we did our keys, all of these things, and today I'm just going to finalize what I have to say towards this game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was scrolling on Twitter this morning, literally like 15-20 minutes before the show. And of course, you know, there's a few people live, man. And everybody, you know, they're still talking about what we were talking about Wednesday, injury reports and all of this stuff. And where, you know, I told y'all Jan Miller was probably like 50-60% a go, if I had to say so, or if I had an opinion. My moderators, they got to get some other information. My AAA members on the channel, you'll be getting some information on the live stream tomorrow before a members only live before kickoff tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to release that information tomorrow. But the thing is right now is, and I feel like I got a buzz. I don't know. Maybe it's me. The thing is right now, Alabama right now doesn't have a depth issue. And if you want to call it an issue, I think it's just deciding which player you're going to roll out, because what they're seeing right now with the production, there have been some guys that have been under a really tight. They've been on a really tight leash. They've been under a microscope, so to say. Guys that are getting close to their eligibility expiring. They need to pop this year. You know, we said the same about Caden Proctor. We said the same about Wilkin Formby. All of these guys are starting to turn over. And if they're not turning that curve and showing that development, there's some young guys there today. I told you we came in with this 25 recruiting class, and I said there are about 9 or 10 day one ready guys, and most of them were off the offensive line, the D line, and the secondary. I felt like Lashier Brooks would be ready. I felt like Derek Meadows would have an opportunity to develop, right? But he's even proved that his development is ahead of time. We dive into it today. This game, we're going to see a lot of faces, and I told y'all, schematically, man, this is a game that fits skill sets like Keon Keeley, Kelby Collins, right there on the interior of the defensive line. Let's talk defense. Alabama's defense versus Tennessee's offense. Who has the advantage in this game? All right, this is my final breakdown of it. When I look at this matchup, a lot of people love to highlight the numbers that Joey Aguilar and this offense and these receivers are putting up, right? And there's no taking away what this offense does at a high rate. They make explosive plays. They're going to throw the ball. Joey Aguilar, he's going to throw the ball. I think right now he's averaging 34 pass attempts a game or some crazy number like that. Passer mentality, gunslinger mentality. This is a game where his accuracy has to be the focal point. Decision making can be, you know, here and there because you have the athletes on the perimeter that could save you, but your accuracy has to be on point. So if you make the wrong read, it has to be a ball that they can make a play on. It has to be one of those situations where you threw it in tight coverage, double coverage, but the receiver can get back to it to make a play on it. It has to be one of those games. And we've seen him consistently make those type of plays. But what we've also seen is on the explosives, the deep pass attempts. Alabama's only given up 2 30-plus yard passes this season where the ball has traveled for more than 30 yards in the air. They've only given up 2. You know, anytime you're towards that 64, 67% mark, that's a quality game. And you're throwing the ball 40 times in a game, that's a quality game. I do think their chance to win this game is to be efficient in the passing game. Right now, 65% completion, almost 1,700 yards on 182 attempts in 6 games. Look at the receivers, man. They have some sizable guys. Chris Brazil, who's probably going to be the big target that he targets this game, 6'5". You look at a game like this, man, you got to expect Dijon Lee. You have to expect Xavier Brown. You have to expect maybe and hopefully Cam Calhoun, some of our bigger corners that are disciplined in phase and coverage. Damani Jackson is a solid lockdown man corner to me. I know he's had a bad 2 weeks, and a lot of his struggles have been in run support and understanding, where his zone drops or reads may be going. But I think in any match or man scheme, I think he's pretty solid. I think that's where he's more comfortable at, which most corners want to do that. Most of your athletic corners want to do that. But I look at Alabama's defense versus the receivers. You're talking about Chris Brazil, 6'5", 200 pounds, and can stretch the field. He's not just a big body possession guy. He can get vertical on you. I was talking about this young man earlier, yesterday. The one that's kind of quietly wide receiver number 3 when you look at where he aligns on the field, the true freshman, Braylon Staley. Yeah, he's quietly like wide receiver number 3, but really he's the most efficient receiver for them. He's going to find the open spots. His route running is there. You're going to need a press corner on him in the slot. You're going to need to bracket him more so than worry about what you have over top with Brazil. I think our safety depth and how Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard play the too high look, I think they play that really solid. There's going to be a lot to be asked from them. When I look at the edge, though, in this game, just the matchup in itself, I think Tennessee can give our secondary some problems if we don't have a pass rush up front. Georgia was still able to force Aguilar into some bad situations just by getting pressure and getting a good push on the pocket. Now, if you haven't paid attention to Alabama's front, our D-line, the rotation, there's a certain personnel group that gets a better push than the others, right? You can tell where we're in a contained run stopping style type of play calling mode, and you can tell when we're coming after quarterback. I think any offensive coordinator that's scouting Kane Womack right now, he can kind of gauge when he's getting pressure because of personnel. I can see it. I can see it as an analyst or a fan from the stands, right? I know that other coordinators at that collegiate level that have that experience can see it too. So when you bring out those personnel groups, to me, the best way to disrupt Tennessee's offense this game for Alabama, don't try to disguise anything. Play it straight up. Play your even front, play your odd front, whatever you're going to play. Play your odd front, keep 4 down. Play it straight up. Keep your depths. Keep everything in front of you. Play it straight up. Hustle to the ball. Take opportunities when you put them in bad reads. When you get the bad throws, take advantage of them. You're showing pressure, go ahead and send it. Make them stop the pressure. Make him make the right read. And that's what I truly think that's where you get them at. When you try to mix them up, that's when you 2 or 3 possessions ahead and you got them scrambling. You got them in for sure pass situations because they're trying to make up some ground. Some players that I expect to step up on the defense. I think Yanzi Pierre has an opportunity to have a big game. They have a right tackle issue, kind of shaky there, kind of like our right tackle situation right now with Wilkin Formby. A lot of people have been dissatisfied with his performance. Going back and looking at the game this past weekend against Missouri, minus the 2 bad plays in the game, he has a solid game. I believe Justin Hill will have some opportunities this game. I truly believe Keon Keeley and LT Overton on the edge is going to be something that we're going to see, or Keon LT Overton and possibly James Smith in this game. He's been, coming off the edge as a big body with his frame and to be able to cover the ground he does laterally has been doing good, because now you can still stay. You can go 3-man front there. You can get smaller at the second level and have them hover around the line of scrimmage like you have been with Nakai Hill-Green, Deontay Lawson, and Justin Jefferson on the field at the same time, with one of those guys basically filling in as the wolf for that set and still having your 5 defensive backs. You got a better coverage situation with Justin Jefferson and Deontay Lawson on the field if you have them dropping into to the hooks or the curl zones. London Simmons is another player that I expect to have a huge game. His motor is going to give the interior of this offensive line, the best part of their offensive line, the most problems. Hopefully we can see Steve Bowler get in that interior rotation for at least 4 or 5 reps. I think his power is something that you just got to have asserted in this game. You're at home. You want to seize momentum. If you're getting any type of push with your first 2 guys, aside fake Steve Bowler as a spell deep tackle nose tackle situation, getting a push on the interior, you're trying to clog up gaps. You got to give those two at least 1 or 2 reps. So London Simmons, though, I look for him to have a big game. This is where I think the challenge is going to be for this game, and we're going to see if these guys are really, truly as good as their film shows and coverage for our secondary. I think they are, but I think they will be challenged this game. If I look to a guy to have a big game in the secondary this game, we haven't seen a huge game from him yet, but I think he's been brewing for one, and it's going to be Xavier Brown. I think he steps up this game. Dijon Lee, I think, continues to build. I'm not saying he's not going to have a great game, and he continues to build and play that at a high level, right? I'm not going to be surprised at how good he plays, especially if they give him that Brazil matchup. I think that's a good matchup for him. A lot of people underestimate him because he's a freshman, but his IQ is way mature than what his age is. This game, and I have good intel, y'all. When 9 touches the field, I think he and Dijon Lee is going to be hard to pull them off the field again. Cam Calhoun will get his opportunity this game. I believe Deshaun Jones may get the start. He may go out there first. Josh Heupel is going to target that slot corner. The moment we see 7 out of that slot corner, when we see that switch, I expect Cam Calhoun to be the first DB off of that rotation. And when he touches the field, we'll see why we went so hard to get him in the portal. Who gets the edge? Who gets the edge? Alabama's defense versus Tennessee's offense. I think Alabama's defense gets the edge. I think the crowd plays a huge part in it. Tennessee allowed Georgia's secondary, give them fits at times in routes. Joey Aguilar was just trusting his receivers with a lot of 50-50 balls. If you go back and watch that game, I never thought they were good. The defensive line wasn't getting a push. I don't think we're the same makeup as Georgia. I don't like to compare our team to Georgia anymore. If I had to truly look at a previous opponent that Tennessee has played so far on their schedule, when I look at schematically, I look at Arkansas last week, Mississippi State the week before, Syracuse, not necessarily the same skill level, but what we do defensively and offensively, I look at those games to see and compare it, and just turn on the film from last week. Like, they were able to get pressure on Joey Aguilar. They were able to get pressure on him. Maybe not as many sacks as they should have got, but they were able to get pressure. So I look at those games when I try to use a little bit of transitive property, which it has no bearings in college football. We know week in and week out, any given if it's Saturday, a different team can show up. But I look at this matchup, and I think Alabama's defense has the better chance. The front is a lot more athletic than what Tennessee has been able to see, and I've seen them struggle with less athletic fronts. I think we have better linebacker play. Their run game is not as explosive as it was last year. And then with Bishop being probable, and he's not 100%. I don't care if he is available. He's not 100%. I don't think he does enough in the run game to threaten us. If they're going to try to play 6-on-6 in the box and make the quarterback the guy the read, I trust my safeties coming up and playing that. Bray Hubbard did get shook out his boots once, right? Once. So you might get that one-off play, but I think we've seen enough from the Perbrula, from Pavio, from Gunner to be able to contain this quarterback. I give the edge to Alabama's defense. Let's go to the offensive side. Alabama's offense versus Tennessee's defense. This is where I think the game gets ugly. And I got to do this because I've been watching these other analysts try to give, and they did it with Missouri. They talked about how great Missouri's run game was, and Alabama literally went in and took their run game away from them. We pushed them 4 yards or almost 3 yards under their average coming into the game, going into the fourth quarter. We didn't take advantage on some scoring opportunities, but we played a complete game on the road against a good Missouri team and held them below their averages. We made them play our game, and that's how we won. I look at the matchup now. Tennessee versus Arkansas. 21-31 passing, 256 yards for Taylor Green and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. The run game, Mike Washington Jr., who similar skill sets. If I had to compare him to the style of running back we have on our roster, Kevin Riley fits this style of running straight up. Kevin Riley, I even think Dre Washington could get an opportunity in this game. Jam Miller is going to play. I know they're saying he's out. If he dresses, he's going to play. They're going to utilize him. They're going to give him an opportunity. He will be available. But for this game, Kevin Riley, I think he can handle the load. Somebody say, put me in the game, coach. Yes, sir. Tennessee's run defense hasn't been the best either. They've allowed a lot of explosives this season. Even against Arkansas, 38-yarder, a 22-yarder, and two 22-yarders. they gave up in that game. It's not like Alabama doesn't have explosive backs. I think it took some time for everything to gel together. And you needed Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley. You needed those guys to get some live reps. Jam Miller was down. With Jam being down, if he has an opportunity, this is the type of game we will see Richard Young break out. This is the type of game Kevin Riley can be explosive. This defense has struggled against far less talented offensive lines. Alabama's offensive line is with all this shuffling and the different personnel that we see, you're still seeing us be able to produce some of the higher efficiency stats on the offensive side. The pressure rate on Ty Simpson is one of the lowest in the country on pressures against Georgia. Ty Simpson took sacks that he didn't have to take. And this is something that he has acknowledged, and it's not a teammate thing. When your offensive line is giving you 4 or 5 seconds, it's taking you 6 seconds to get sacked. That's not the O-line. That's a quarterback thing, and I think he can fix that, especially at home. It's a different vibe at home. You have a better feel for your surroundings. That's your field. You get to touch that field more often than you do when you're on the road, right? The crowd gives you a certain sense. And so I look at it there, the run game. I think our offensive line truly against this defensive front, they have a talented defensive front. They can get athletic and get to the quarterback. Tennessee's defense is I think they're leading in sacks in the SEC right now with 23 sacks. They built a lot of their stats early before conference play with Mississippi State and Arkansas. I don't know if they're as good as advertised. And they're dealing with some injuries in the secondary. We know how Alabama has been getting real funky with the extension in the run game, putting offensive linemen out in the flats, right? Now screens to the offensive line. Like, we have a chance to really beat up on Tennessee's defense with this offensive line and how we utilize them, not just in pass pro or in run blocking, but even in the extension in the run game. I wouldn't be surprised if we run a double reverse pass to Parker Bradford or some crazy jump like that. I wouldn't be surprised, chat. Don't put it past Grubb, man. That dude on one this season. All right, let me look at the comments real quick before I finish off this Bama offense versus Tennessee. They upgraded him to probable. We talked about this Wednesday. I told you all Wednesday before practice was over that he was going to be available. I knew he would be available. If he dresses, they will play him. Some of top sacks on him holding just a little too long or even leaving the pocket when he didn't need to. Let's be real. We could have asked for him to play better for a first-year starter. Facts, Josh. And that's what I'm saying. Like, his accountability and awareness to know that's what's happening. That's what, you know what? That's what happens with dual threat quarterbacks. I don't think it's uncommon. I don't think a dual threat quarterback has a good game unless he gets sacked at least once. Unless a bad sack is on him. You got to have one of those as a dual threat. Funny business, but it's true. Michael Vick was a big proponent of it. He's the true definition of dual threat, right? And Vick was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. But nobody ever talked about that. Only thing you talked about was how crazy elusive he was when he did make the plays. I feel like dual threats have to take a sack because they're trying to keep a play alive. That's what they do. They create. I'm not mad at it. It's not causing us to lose. Tennessee D-line have motors, though. I watched the film. Facts. They D-line, that front is that's what I was saying, Square Biz. Their front is probably the best part of their defense. Their linebackers aren't as disciplined as they were last year. And I think where we have the advantage against their defense is in that second, like being able to get a push with our line against that front, looking like Grubb trying to give Heupel a dose of his own medicine, making the box light, giving Ty an easier box to read when you spread the defense out like that with your 10 personnel, splitting the numbers and on top of the numbers. When you able to spread defenses out like that, like Tennessee does to everybody else, Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer have similar sets like that, and we will use our tight ends. We'll go 11 personnel and go with that wide split set. Oh, I ain't got it drawn on the board, but I was going to show y'all what I was talking about. Tennessee has the clear advantage on both lines of scrimmage. You think so? Last week was the first week they had the whole D-line back with Hobbs and Ma. I don't think they have the clear advantage. If you think their D-line clearly has the advantage over Alabama's offensive line, you haven't watched Alabama's O-line. And this is an O-line that's rotating. 7 to 8 guys. Week 1 versus Florida State, we gave up 4 sacks. Plenty of opportunities for big plays in that game. Ty Simpson averaged 3.8 seconds on pass dropbacks to release of the ball. best pass pro of the top 10 quarterbacks in that week. They are actually better on D-line than you think. I don't think their D-line is trash. I never said their D-line was bad. I think this is going to be a short passing screen running game. If you keep hitting their pass rush with quick pass, they will get tired. The run game is not necessarily handoffs for Ryan Grubb, and that's exactly what see, quick pass to me is when you're in your curl, slant, quick out, those type of situations. Not your now screens. That's not quick pass to me. That's extension of the run game. Those jet motion runs, those are extensions of the run game in my opinion. But you're absolutely right. That's how you get them tired. What up, Hines? The scary thing is Ty's playing as well as he is and still has a lot of room to improve. This is a first-year starting quarterback playing like a second-year NFL veteran right now. Hyper is going to throw the kitchen sink at us. You know he is. They have to come out and start fast. Can we add the shuffle pass, please, for Smook? Hey, listen. You know what? They put me in a booth. We'll have it. They put me in the booth. We'll have it. I think y'all schedule was very favorable in padding those sack numbers. UAB, Eastern Tennessee, Syracuse, Arkansas last week. Not Arkansas, Mississippi State. We saw how that line struggled. They played. It still played y'all close. Y'all can get pressure, but y'all can't stop the pass. And that leads to my point. When I look at the edge, I look at Alabama's offense and I look where the firepower is, where Alabama's offense is really thriving at, where nobody has been able to slow us down at. Even week 1 against Florida State in the loss. Our passing game with 6 drops still was a threat. And I look at Tennessee's secondary. You guys got it. You're missing 2 starters in the secondary. You're playing guys that got some experience. I understand. But this is not a secondary that's played strong all year. You allow Gunnar Stockton and that trash Georgia passing offense to have their way with y'all that game. And I went back and I watched it. Gunnar Stockton did the same thing Joey Aguilar did. Them 50-50 balls, you play against a decent secondary, it's not happening. Both secondaries played garbage that game. Both secondaries played garbage that Georgia-Tennessee game. And I mean, Gunnar Stockton had an efficient game. He had an efficient game. 23 of 31, 304. And y'all don't think Ty Simpson about to go and have his way with this defense? How many times did y'all get the Gunner? Let's see how many times did Tennessee get the Gunner? 4? Hey, we give up 4 sacks. So if that's all you trying to do, we'll give up 4. We've been able to give up 4 with the last 2 weeks, and we handling business. You know, one ended up in a 14-point win, and the other one was a 3-point win on the road. So I think we right there. You can bring the pressure if you want to. My quarterback right now he's at a 63% completion percentage against pressure. Advantage Alabama offense. Tennessee's defense, your secondary can't hold up. Alabama versus Tennessee, my finale for it. Right? When I look at it just from a schematic standpoint, Josh Heupel, I truly believe they're going to be able to score. Right? I do believe Tennessee's offense is going to be able to score, but it's going to come at a cost. You're going to have to be extra aggressive to stay in this game because your defense will not be able to stop our offense. I think Ty may slip up and get aggressive. We might see another game where he might have a turnover, being overconfident. He might early in the game, right? Maybe see something too early or see it late, pull it, just being too excited, knowing the moment is there. But that's excusable, right? That's excusable. But this is an opportunistic game, and when I say opportunistic, I'm talking about the way that Tennessee throws the ball with Joey Aguilar, the way the offensive line is struggling to keep him clean the last 2 weeks against the last 2 opponents. I think Alabama's defense is trending in the right direction. Tennessee's offensive line kind of showed who they were. We still don't know what Alabama's defensive line is. I think we're seeing what our linebackers are, and we're not sure about our secondary in every spot. We know where some guys are. We know where we're getting our consistency from. We're trying to fill in a few spots. Is this the right game to find out who it is? Yes, we're going to find out this game. It's going to either be really good or really bad. But now when I look at the questions for Bama's defense and Tennessee's offense, I like the answers I have for Bama's defense. I don't like the questions I have for Tennessee's offense. And then the vice versa for Alabama's offense. Can we pass the ball? Can they pass the ball against this defense? Tennessee has allowed everybody else to pass the ball. What's kept Tennessee in games and winning is their offense, being able to do the same thing. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do it against this defense. I think our offense will be able to throw the ball against their defense. And because they're going to have to try to get out of that man look that they try to stay in if they want to try to win this game, we'll be able to run the ball too on the interior. Alabama has one of the most effective interior run games right now for the past 4 weeks in this season. Jam Miller being out may affect the volume, but yard per carry average will be around that 3.7 to 4.1 yard per carry average that Alabama's targeting for a game in and game out. And that to me leads to a victory. Alabama, we dropped 30 against a decent Vanderbilt team, a decent Vanderbilt defense. At home, you're not keeping Bama under 40 at home with that defense. So I'm going to go Bama 42, Tennessee 28. Might be some early scoring, 24-21 type halftime. Alabama come out third quarter. Defense gets a stop. Forces a turnover. Scores. Turnover on down, score. Tennessee pushes the ball, score. Alabama finishes the game into the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter with two scoring drives to make it 42-28. 42-28 Bama. 42-28 Bama.
Hopefully you enjoyed that content. If you did, hit the like. Make sure you've shared it. We're trying to grow here. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, just hit the follow. We're trying to get to our goals, and we only can do it with your help. And don't forget, when you leave a comment, hashtag put me in the game, coach. I'll catch you on the next one.
Remember, when you see me in the streets, holler at me. Say, put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Put me in the game, Coach Smook. Put me in the game, Coach Smook.
Like